Before we get started with my thoughts on the patch, I do want to say that the first 1.07 tournament will be this Saturday, as in tomorrow at 4 p.m. CST. Go ahead and sign up. It is not too late. We already have 25 players. I want to get at least 50 or so. That is my hope. At least, 40, 50, something like that. So please sign up for that. Tomorrow it's on the PC platform. Join the Discord down below to do that. Now, 1.07 sure is a patch. I played it for about 10 hours yesterday, doing ranked and just like hanging out and talking with other people about how I think about the current changes in the metagame, stuff like that. If you don't know who I am, by the way, I'm Hutassa. I run the tournament scene for the video game, as you just saw. Been running tournaments for a year now. Been having a lot of fun with it. You'll see a lot of those videos on my channel. Now, the game done changed. People are kind of downplaying how substantial the Ocellus nerf is for the game. For example, just of how the game done changed. This is a real build now. What you're looking at is basically BVO, but better and more healthy for the game. If you didn't know, BVO stands for Basho Viento Ocellus, which basically used to look like this. Let me pull up Ramon's old BVO. Yeah, it used to look like this. And it was an extremely strong build back in 1.05. It was, well, not extremely strong. It was like a tier 2 build. It was viable, but it wasn't tier 1. It wasn't an LCB tank, you know what I mean? But it was very, very good. But it was also kind of unhealthy because lightweight kites could not exist with BVO around. You couldn't wiggle Vientos, you couldn't dodge Vientos. Lightweight kites just crumbled the BVO every single time. So From Software nerfed Viento, which made lightweight kite a thing because Kirikite came out of that. Kirikite is a, I actually have it. The Kirikite right there, that became a thing. And Kirikite's pretty dang cool. It's a really neat build. Which this build also got massively buffed, by the way. Holy shit, more on that later. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But the Hokushi gen changes and the Ocellus changes and everything are pretty huge for Kirikite. Like 1000%. They're pretty dang huge for Kirikite. I keep looking at my own face cam for some reason, but anyway. But yeah. So, this build now exists, and it's a lot healthier because ducats are slow enough that lightweight kites can actually dodge them. They hit like a fucking truck. Let me show you. But they hit like a truck, but you can still dodge them on a lightweight, which is really, really cool. So let me go ahead and grab Trainer AC real quick, and let me show you exactly what this build can do. For those who played BVO in 1.05, does that look familiar to you at all? Does it? So yeah, I legitimately do think lightweight CQC is back on the menu, because also, if you might be wondering, why are you using Knock Rider legs? Why aren't you using Knock? Why aren't you using, why are you using Alula legs, or Alba legs, sorry. Alula legs? What's wrong with me? Anyway, Alba got buffed, and it got buffed in a very substantial way. So, if you didn't know, a big part of this video game is being able to dodge, for lightweights anyway, is to be able to dodge Zims. Zims are still a menace. They did get nerfed pretty hard with the Ocellus nerf because like dual Zim builds, every single one used Ocellus. So they have to have like actual decent firearm spec arms now or play in soft lock, which does nerf Zims pretty badly. Honestly, I think if they nerf Zims even a little bit, even like a little bit of impact, I think Zims would be struggling right now. Because of the Ocellus nerf, because lightweights are doing so well right now. So, Alba legs now have the jump distance to dodge dual Zim. Straight up. They did not have the grounded jump distance before. They could not do this. This was why every good lightweight build ran Knock Rider legs. Now, there are 2 legs to choose from. Alba, if you're a CQC kite, or you want to CQC at all. And Knock Rider, if you want to be a pure kite. Which is really, really interesting to me. I freaking love that. Now, you might be thinking, well, Alba has 100 less jump distance, How could it possibly match up to Knock Rider? Let me show you something. This is your quick boost distance on Alba legs. With the Lula booster. And now, I shall show you what it looks like on Knocked. Well, I gotta... Gosh darn it. Alright, get off the butter sword. It shouldn't affect it that much. It'll affect it, but it won't affect it that much. So... See the difference? That's what 100 jump distance does. Plus a little weight, but it's still. It doesn't really matter that much. like, you still want the extra difference, because if you're kiting something, you do want to go faster, and you know, knockaways are just lighter, and you can, like, do cool bunny hop stuff like this. But with lightweight CQC, look at the difference in my stats right now. I've got 1613 stability here. I've got 1760 there. Isn't that crazy? That's so much stability on a lightweight. For comparison, I'm gonna show y'all evil statue stats. This won't be like the actual, like, full evil statue build, but if you are curious about that, there is a channel in my Discord talking about, like, old meta builds back in 1.06. So if you want to go check out what the old metagame looked like, you can do that there. But here are the stats for evil statue. Was it casual or head? I think it was casual or head. Actually, I can check that right now. Let me make absolutely sure. No, I'll just show the build. That's what I'll do. I'll just show the build. Anyway, here is in my Discord. You can see all of the... Yeah, there we go. So yeah, 1838 was the stability on evil statue. This was a real build, by the way. This was a tier 2 build, meaning it was a high tier build. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't broken, like, at least compared to other, like, metagame staples, but it was a real build. You could play it in a tournament and do decently well. If you look at these stats, and you look at these... Oh, no, well, let me get back to the... Be fine. There they are. If you look at those stats, and look at these stats, isn't it kind of similar? Like, at least a little bit? So, lightweights have been substantially buffed this patch, just because Alba now has good quick boost. And ducats, the ducat buff is substantial, because ducats are extremely good in CQC. They're really good for getting really quick staggers, and then you can put something on, like, a melee punish for really big stagger damage. But Basho arms don't have the recoil of the controlled ducats. Check this out. Look at that. A few of my shots just went flying. Well, it does have the recoil of the controlled ducats. Is this bad boy? Like a slight deviation. Actually, maybe it doesn't have enough recoil. But anyway. Maybe you still just want on Basho. I don't know. Firearm spec doesn't matter though, so maybe you do want food. I don't. It's day one, homie. I don't know. Y'all have to experiment with that yourself. But I legitimately think that the melee spec buffs to VP46S, because now you're only losing out on 10% damage instead of fucking 20% like you used to. Because you don't know, every 2 points of melee spec is 1% damage. So Basho used to be the end-all be-all. You could not possibly switch it out if you had any kind of melee in your build whatsoever, because you were losing out on 20% damage. 20% damage is a lot of damage. Like, I don't need to tell you that. You're watching an Armored Core 6 video. You know how math works. But yeah, it's like that. I think that the melee spec changes on it are just fantastic. And you can even put a Huxley on this bad boy. You can put a 3PM on this bad boy if you want a longish poke. You can put a VPM on. Well, you can almost run a VPM on it. But anyway, you can run a bunch of things on this build. You have, like, your whole top right slot is completely interchangeable. And I think that's really, really cool. This build is awesome, and I'm so excited to see what good players do with it. Getting into some other things, I think melee is a lot stronger now. Laser Blade, sadly, is still bad, in my personal opinion. I am trying to make it work with, like, a sword and board setup, but it just doesn't seem to be doing well. This is a build that Moonlit Blaze came up with. It's a very stat-dense melee build, but it's 75k weight, and it goes kind of crazy. And then lightweight melee is also kind of working because of the Alba leg buff. Like, on Flugel, you can quick boost dual Zims now, which is freaking awesome. In fact, Flugel's melee spec buff is pretty significant. I mean, look at this compared to Kikaku. That still matters, but it doesn't matter nearly as much. Pretty awesome. Now, the one thing that I will say about this patch that does concern me about the health of the metagame, because I'm talking about a lot of positives here. I'm talking about a lot of positives. I am concerned about a specific build that a good friend of mine, Quinn, is running around with and just terrorizing the ranked ladder. This is the new Larb Shield. This bad boy, because of the VE-20A buffs, you can now run dual LRB. And yes, I know the arms are overburdened, but it doesn't really matter that much. You can run dual LRB and still be pretty dang fast. This build, it might not look like it. It can rat you. Because what it will do is it'll poke with 3 PMs, and then it will shoot LRBs while you're ABing or neutral boosting or whatever the heck you're doing towards it because you've just lost AP lead because you got hit by 3 PM. This build plays AP lead very, very well. And playing AP lead, I know people don't like it. At least the more like casual community doesn't like it. But it's a core part of the game, and it's a core part of, to be honest with you, especially after running the 4-Answer tournament, it's a core part of every Armored Core game. I don't know if VD is the same way, but I'll be hosting a VD tournament probably next month. And I'll be honest, timers are pretty important in every Armored Core game. Remember, this is a simulation where you're fighting other Ravens. This is not a duel to the death. You are here to win the simulation. You are here to do as much damage as you can in a 2-minute interval. That is just how it works in lore. Because I've had some people complain, like, well, ratting doesn't make any sense in the lore. It's like, it makes complete sense in the lore. It makes complete sense in the lore. Like, you are fighting, it is a simulation of other Ravens that you are fighting. That is what you are doing. Or it's a simulation where you as a Raven are fighting other Ravens. Anyway, that aside. This build is very scary to me. Because LRB was part of the Holy Trinity back in 1.06.1. It was LRB, Zim, and Etsujin. Etsujin got nerfed directly. Zimmerman's got nerfed indirectly in a pretty big way, by the way. I do think Zims are... I do think dual Zim is going to kind of struggle a little bit in this patch. And especially Zim Shield, because they nerfed PS as well. We'll get into that a little bit later. But Etsujin got nerfed. Zimmerman got nerfed. LRB got buffed. Because now you can run VE-20A. That concerns me a lot. I think LRB is currently the best weapon in the game. Now, will this prove to be the case tomorrow? Will this prove to be the case in a month or two? Maybe, maybe not. But I want to talk about my concerns with the patch. Now, speaking of patching, Captain Mace, who has been scouring the Steam DB as much as possible, he sent me this yesterday at 2:24 p.m. CST. From Software is already working on something. So this is a screenshot of 11 hours ago at the Steam DB page. As you can see, that's when the patch went live, 19th at 11 hours ago. And then shortly afterwards, a new dev release happened on Steam DB. If you don't know what this is, by the way, this is basically showing updates to Steam. Basically, when a developer changes something on Steam, it'll show up right here. This might be a bug fix, because currently the duos are bugged. Let me show you that real quick. If you did not know, the duo missiles got a pretty significant reload speed buff. This patch, I'm overburdened. I'm so sad. Take off one of the buckets. Anyway, got a pretty significant reload speed buff, but you wouldn't know if you actually were playing with them, because they currently just don't care about the extra reload speed they got, which is very, very strange. But check this out. Let's shoot the duo 3. We're going to wait for it to reload. Where's my yellow bar? There it is. You know, about 0.5 seconds after it actually should be there. So you can see that the reload speed buff didn't really do anything to them. It would be crazy if it did, because honestly, these missiles go hard, especially in 3v3. I think those are going to be a huge threat now in 3v3, 1000%, because they already were, and now they got buffed. But anyway, it might be a bug fix. It could be a 1.07.1. It could be that they took the tweet down back on like Tuesday or Monday, whenever they actually really they tweeted out about the patch and then immediately took it down. I think like 10 minutes later they took it down. So maybe they realized they couldn't get the patch done in time, and they have like a part 2 to the patch they're actually putting out later, because they're like, oh shoot, we already announced the patch, now we have to put it out, or people are going to be upset at us. Maybe they split the patch in 2. Maybe it's 1.07.1. Maybe they got more bug fixes for us. We don't know yet, but I'll keep you guys updated with the community posts. So subscribe to the Funny channel for more Armored Core news, because this is really exciting to me, because Armored Core 6 is my favorite video game. I freaking love this game. I played it for 10 hours yesterday. I played it till 2 a.m. Like, all those people some people will call me a shill for Armored Core, or like from Software or whatever, but I genuinely really love this video game. And I woke up, okay, I'll be real. I was supposed to have a video for y'all yesterday when the patch came out, but I wanted to play the game so badly, I couldn't focus on actually making the video. So I just played Armored Core 6 offline, not even on stream, not even making any kind of like monetary gain or channel growth or anything like that. Like, this is my job. I do this for a living, but I genuinely just really love Armored Core. So it's like, I'm really excited, guys. Like, this is so cool to me. The Elden Ring Shall the Erd Drought is over. From Software cares about this game again. Let's freaking go, dude. And just in general, I think the patch is so good because they okay, here's a big thing. I think people are overlooking this. So, they nerfed snail legs in the patch. Let me actually grab the data mine patch notes real quick so I can show you all this. They nerfed snail legs in the patch, right? Let me buff this up, pull this up quick. So, let's look for snail legs. I think it's like it's VE something. I hate how Archibus names their stuff. What is it called again? It's just snail legs to me. VE42A. VE42A, right there. They nerfed the hell out of it. Look at that. The armor points, the connect defense, all that kind of stuff. Everything went down. Y'all can see that, right? Let me check OBS. Let me make sure. Yes, y'all can see that. So, a bunch of stuff went down. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, so we're just going to use desert legs instead. I thought that. As someone who's been running the competitive scene for a year now, I thought that. From Software did too. Because they also nerfed desert legs. This right here, this one change, shows to me that From Software knows what they're doing. And I really, really like that. Like, yeah, you can be like, oh, well, why did they do this? What did that? Like, songbird nerf, whatever. I get it. You know, some of the stuff they do is not perfect. But this shows some real foresight on the balance team. I think that's really, really cool. Genuinely, I think that's really, really cool. The Knock Rider leg nerf, I don't agree with, but at the same time, I kind of like how there's two legs to choose from now with lightweight. Knock Rider if you never want to get hit ever, and Alba if you want to scrap. If you want to put up your fucking dukes, you choose Alba legs. And I think that's so gosh darn dope. Because throughout the entirety of the game's lifespan, lightweights have had one leg. One leg. And you might be thinking, oh, Alba legs are good on some, like, airborne kite build. No, they're not. You run that as a midweight. Like, come on. Don't kid yourself. Let's be real. There's a reason why every meta-relevant lightweight that you've seen in my videos has been on knocked legs. Knocked legs have been carrying lightweights for so long. There has been at least one viable lightweight since like 1.0, 4.1, I want to say. And it's all been on knock rider legs. Now, last patch, 1.06.1, was probably the worst for lightweights, just in general, because midweights were just so gosh darn strong. But now with the Alba leg buff, lightweights can come back. And they can fight you in CQC. And they're scary in CQC. That's the thing. It's like people are saying, like, oh, you can just run Duckblade, which is the... Duckblade is what I'm going to call it, by the way. The dual ducats, pulse plate thing. You just run on a midweight. But what they fail to realize is that lightweights have one thing over midweights. They have like one or two things over midweights. And that's speed and E and efficiency. Look at my E and supply efficiency and look at my boost speed. Well, I'm on Flugel still. Let me go back to a little bit. Or SBD actually is what I prefer on this. 377 is about as fast as JP Lamb. If you don't know what JP Lamb is, by the way, it's the Lamagire leg build that everyone hates. This is the bane of Reddit everywhere. But, like, you go as fast as these legs. Huh? Like, that's insane, right? So, the thing of once you get the opponent in your bite, you just don't let them go. They can't escape you because you have good assault boost, you have good neutral movement. Like, this build is not getting kited unless the lightweight kite is very good. Again, this is why I like ducats or Vientos, why I think it's more healthy for the game. The ducats are the lightweight CQC choice weapon because I just watched earlier. I think it was Emmy versus, I can't remember who the other player was, but I just watched it in my Discord earlier. I was just on in VC playing the game. And I watched a Duckblade versus a Curie Kite, and the Curie Kite ended up winning because they just wiggled the hell of the ducats, and they played out of their mind and was able to actually overcome it. If that was old BVO, Curie Kite would have lost in the garage. This meta is so much healthier now. At least that's how I feel after day one. Because remember, gamers, LRB is right there. And it could become a problem. We'll have to wait and see. Because LRB, I think lightweights can do decently well against it. If you are cracked at dodging lasers, which I know lasers, haha, netcode, whatever. But there are ways to dodge lasers like consistently in this game. I mean, just look at like the Rubicon Rumble tournament back in 1.05, like the first 1.05 tournament where Ramen Rook was fighting against like LCB tank, and dude was scrapping in like CQC with an LCB tank, 1.05 LCB tank. There are ways to dodge lasers in this game consistently. It's just really unintuitive and very hard to do because netcode bad. But I think we have potential for like an actual top tier lightweight build. And I think that's really, really, really cool. So, those are my thoughts on the patch. I'm really happy with laser blade buffs. I'll try to make it work, but it's still ass. So, if you want to see me suffer, I'm on Twitch every weekday at random times because my life is in shambles. But, and again, don't forget, gamers, we are running a tournament. That's still what this channel is all about. We run events here. So join the Discord down below and sign up for the tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun. Even if you don't think you're going to win, even if you don't think you're going to do well, everyone starts going 0-2 at one point. The guy I was just talking about, Ramen Rook, one of my favorite players and a very good dude. He went, like, I think it was 1-2 his first tournament. There you go. And now he's, like, one of the best threes players in the world. So that's pretty fucking cool. But yeah. Everyone goes 0-2 at some point, so jump into a tournament. It's just a lot of fun. And if you go 0-2, it's like 20 minutes of your time. And then you can just watch the tournament and hang out and have a good time. So, I will see you gamers tomorrow for this tournament. Hope you all have a good day. And I hope you're really enjoying the patch. Let me know what you think down below. Goodbye.